Welcome back to another episode of the AJ Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Carboni, and the other host, Justin Vilche. Both of us are here. We are back off another
You're back.
crazy NHL weekend, sports weekend, whatever weekend. UFC just happened. A lot of games, Habs versus Leafs. So we're gonna jump right into it. But first of all, we gotta say what's up to Justin. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, bro. How are you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good, bro. I just had a couple shifts at work, but we're
Yeah,
back at it. Was sick, getting over this stupid fucking cold. As you can see, my nose is a bit stuffed
bro.
the way I sound, but we're at the very
Um,
end of it. So it's about time. It's about time. It's about time. But yeah, this episode we're gonna talk about. We're gonna get into the Leafs because they beat the Montreal Canadiens. Whatever. Okay, we'll talk. We're gonna talk about that. We gotta talk about the NHL, whatever happened, and TFC.
yeah, not really much happened this weekend.
There's
Like
not
there
much to
was,
it.
yeah. Well, okay.
So,
Let's start off with let's start off with our teams because that was the most important thing that happened on the weekend. So,
I'll let you discuss this. I'll let you just tell them what happened there before I do something.
okay. So first of all, Leafs going to Montreal. Okay, Leafs going to Montreal, needing a win because after what just happened to Boston, needing a desperate win over against their rivals, right? So Leafs go in there and already look sloppy. 30 seconds into the game, already conceding a goal. So not off to a great start. Bell Center's rocking, right? But the Leafs, what they did was they adjusted. They tied the game 1-1. Then they were down 2-1. And then Max Domi scores to make it 2-2. Going to a third period, Leafs are the game was sloppy from both sides, which I understand. The Leafs didn't look all great, but I mean they adjusted to the atmosphere, which was nice, and that was nice for Leafs fans to see. And they got the clutch goal by JT in the third period off a deflection, and they won the game. Now, are we proud of the guys kind of struggling against the Habs? No, but they got the job done, and that was very nice of them. And I think that pleased most Leaf fans because in the past, the Leafs would probably lose that game. Like we've seen them lose close games at the Bell Center. We've seen them get dominated against the Habs at the Bell Center when they really shouldn't be. So considering they
Well,
also didn't have
that win that the Leafs had was the first time the road team has won in 12 games in that rivalry. Like the
yeah,
past 12 games that they've played or something like that, the home
yeah,
team has
and
won. So
the Leafs always struggle in the Bell Center, and it's just I don't know if it's because of the atmosphere. I don't know if it's because the Habs play harder against the Leafs, which makes sense, right? Like Habs Leafs, but I mean the Leafs got the job done. They got in there. They got into Montreal. They got the job done. They got a dirty win, and now they're off till Thursday, where they play the Flyers. Which again, the Flyers are also a dirty team. They got Konechny, they got Tortorella, which we will talk about. They got Cam York out there. They still got Couturier and those guys like that. So I mean, the Leafs should win on Thursday, but it'll be an interesting one. Although your Habs, there's really not many excuses for their
yeah,
season
they
because no, hold on, because it's funny how you told me you told me that they would contend for a wild card spot and they
dude,
could
they had dude, they had they had the pieces in the
hold on
beginning.
hold
Listen,
on and it
it's
was
their fault. I
hold
know it's
on
their fault.
hold on
They were not good. It's their
hold
fault.
on hold on. You told me they would first of all contend for a playoff spot and maybe potentially fight for a playoff spot, and it looks like I was right because first of all I told you no, and two, I actually have it written down because we both wrote it down before the season started. I had them last in the Atlantic. So it looks like you're going to be wrong, which I mean was obvious because, bro, the Habs are just not good enough. And it looks like I'm going to be right, obviously, because Justin is
Well,
usually right. So,
if you check my Twitter, hang on. If you check my Twitter, I didn't have them making playoffs. I said there's a chance that they can make the playoffs and contend for a wild card spot. Is that fair to say? Yeah. I mean, the Atlantic
I mean,
Division going into the season was pretty tough because all the teams we expected to be good were going to be good, right? We thought Detroit would be good. We thought it'd be competitive to get that last wild card spot in the East, but unfortunately, the Habs just had too many losing skids and they didn't make it. Now they still have, they're still rebuilding. They got to get the better draft picks and they got to sign better pros, right? So give them a couple years, maybe one, maybe two. after 2 years, like if they don't make it in like the next 2 years, then I think it's gotta be management. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about that because they
But the
are
thing
kind of
is, the thing is with the Habs though, it's like okay, they're in a rebuild right now, but it's like, do we really think they'll be better than the Red Wings in a couple years? Do we really think they'll be better than the Panthers in a couple years? Will they be better than the Leafs in a couple years? It's like, and then the Metro teams, like the Metro teams will also get better. Like the Blue Jackets will also get better. Like they're not going to be this bad for years to come. Like it's only a matter of time. The Sabres will also get better up there. So it's like, do we really like when you actually put it into perspective? Do we actually think the Montreal Canadiens will be battling for a wild card spot in 2 years? Because
well,
top three
they need to
Atlantic is
sign
just
better players. They need to
okay.
sign better pros. That's what they have a lot of young guys, but they need to sign like good pros. I know like a lot of these teams have good pros, right? So I think the Habs need to go out and get some guys, get like some Chris Tanevs, get some like middle stats, get some good guys that have or like Alex Tux, you know what I mean? They need to get guys like that on their
Yeah.
team. I think Savard
Okay.
is a good example of a good pro, right? He's helping the younger guys develop. And Suzuki's having his best season, even though the Habs are not good. He's I think got a point per game. Like he's a point per game player this year. So good on him for stepping up. Cole Caulfield also needs to elevate his game a bit more. He has been very cold. Good thing I traded him in fantasy. But Mike
Oh,
Matheson though, Mike Matheson has been good, which is good. I like seeing that. He's a very good skater. I mean, I think he burned Nylander the other day. And when they scored 30 seconds in, when he scored 30 seconds in, I'm like, bro, this is gonna be a good game. Hockey Night in Canada, Leafs Habs. What can go wrong
that's
there?
true.
Right.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
But
I don't know.
going on to what we gotta say now. So I don't think the Panthers are gonna struggle. I don't think Tampa Bay is gonna catch up. Looks to me we're gonna get Leafs Bruins round one in the playoffs. I'm predicting it, and I hope it happens. I don't think that the
Oh yeah.
Panthers will. I think the Panthers will be better than the Bruins going into the playoffs. Therefore, Boston will play Toronto round one. How does a series like that look for the Leafs, in your opinion?
It really doesn't look good. We've been getting absolutely dominated every single time. We're like 0-3 in the season series. It's like we're just like boys. It's just like boys to men. Like we're like literally just like the little boys, just like under 19, like the under nines playing against like the under 19s. Like bro, like we're just gonna get absolutely crushed. It's like bro, the Boston Bruins if they
How
come up
many
to Toronto,
games? How many
five,
games?
five. It's gonna be five.
Yeah, yeah, it's not looking
Like
good for the Leafs, bro.
bro, it's like what it's like what more do like the Leafs have to do? Plus, Marner's injured now, so we don't know how long that injury will be. We don't know how bad the injury is, and he's already not going to play on Thursday. They've already said that. So it's like, although I don't really rate Marner, but he's still considered a big part of the squad. So okay, if that's what people think. So it's like
He's one of the
the
Ferraris in
Leafs.
the collection. You know what I mean? He's one of the
Yeah, so
Ferraris in
he's
the.
one of the fur. So it's like it's just a matter of okay, do the Leafs like do they like in the locker room like that's another thing. The mentality in the locker room is like, do they really believe they can beat the Bruins? Like honestly, like does Matthews think they can beat the Bruins because he's already lost multiple times? Does Marner, does Nylander, does JT think he could beat the Bruins? Like, no. Like, come on. Like, let's not lie to ourselves. And they're always talking about, oh my gosh, this is a lesson. This loss is a lesson for us. Dude, how many lessons? It's like 10 years. It's like 10 lessons a year. Oh yeah, this was a lesson so that we can improve in the playoffs. Dude, you're gonna get absolutely crushed by the Bruins. Then if you play the Panthers, you're gonna get absolutely dominated. Like, I'm a Leaf fan. I hope we win the cup, obviously. But it's like what I see just doesn't show anything. And we're just so far away from a cup. And this is what
You
year
just
eight.
you're not a delusional Leafs fan who
No,
thinks they're
like
always.
there's a lot of delusional Leaf fans who think that, oh my gosh, if we could beat the Bruins, we could win the cup. Dude, stop. Like, stop. We're 8 years into this. The same management. Shanahan's still there.
I think Boston, Florida is just destined in the second round. I
Yeah.
mean, like I don't see to me, I don't see any upsets happening in the first round unless Tampa Bay play the Panthers. Like I could definitely see Tampa Bay like potentially beating Florida round one, but
Mhm.
like even so, like I don't really see many upsets happening in round one. Like we I think the destin the destiny I see is Rangers Florida Panthers conference final. Now that would be amazing. That would be
Yeah,
one of the best series
insane.
in the
Yeah.
playoffs. Round one overall is just going to be insane for this year's playoffs. Like
Yeah,
there's going to be so
it's
many
like
good
every
matchups,
like
and a team that's in the hunt for the playoffs in
that's
the
like
West. I
every
want to
year.
talk.
Like you get upset.
Yeah, definitely. But I want to talk about the Minnesota Wild and how they pulled their goalie in the overtime and they won the game. How insane was that? Knowing apparently, I didn't know this. So if the Predators were
I
to score on that play, they would lose the point. The Wild would lose the point, and they would
yeah.
only have they would end the game with 0 points, not even the extra for going overtime. I didn't know that was a rule, but the Predators did it, or sorry, the Wild did it against the Predators, and it paid off. I mean, they're in the hunt for the playoffs. I still don't think they'll make it because they're I think 6 points back of Vegas, and Vegas with their ads are probably going to still like go on a winning streak. But I mean, good on them for doing it. That's good. They beat Nashville,
Do
but
we think okay, honestly, do we think this win from the Wild kickstarts because they've had a mediocre season. Like they started off bad and then now they're kind of getting into form. Do we think the Minnesota Wild can actually pull this off? Like when you really think about it, they're only 6 points back out of Vegas. Okay, which it's really not that bad. It's only like 3 games, and then they're still like 8 points behind the Preds with I think a game in hand. So if they win that again, 6 points back, do we honestly believe that the Minnesota? Because
no,
again, this huge win could
no,
kick.
not happening.
No. Okay.
Not
That
happening.
was that was all.
Vegas is too strong. Nashville's too strong as well. They're only in their last 10, they've won 8, lost 2 in OT.
Yeah.
So they've been getting points in their games, even if they've won 8 out of 10. There's nothing stopping Nashville from taking that first wild card spot, and nothing stopping Vegas as well. And LA's doing pretty good too. They just won
Yeah, they got a
3-0
huge win
yesterday.
over the Islanders. Okay, that was interesting. I don't know. The Minnesota Wild like with a win like that, then they also play the Coyotes tonight. It's just like you just kind of just get a feeling that like a team can just pull off 7, 8 wins in a row.
But I don't think they will. And if they
Uh,
do play either Winnipeg or Vancouver, I think they'll lose.
You
Or
think they?
Dallas. Like I'm telling
Nah.
you, I think out of the teams, how strong they look, I think Dallas or Colorado are gonna like going
Yeah.
through one of those teams. It's gonna be very hard there, and probably one of those teams is gonna make the final, in my opinion. It's got to be Dallas or Colorado. I think, like we said, the Jets are frauds, and they'll probably lose first round. But I think
True.
it's got to be Colorado or Dallas, 100%. Dallas
Yeah.
is a
Dallas
sleeper
is
pick, by
good.
the way.
Uh, Dallas is really good. On to our next topic.
We
Kind
gotta
of a
talk
funny
about
one.
John. We gotta talk about
Tortorella,
John Tortorella.
what was that on Saturday? So they had the 2014, I guess Stanley Cup winning team, in
Yeah.
Tampa Bay to because it was like a whole ceremony thing. And
Yep.
about 10 minutes into the game, the Flyers are getting absolutely crushed, like 4-0 against the Lightning. And then something happened where Tortorella was like yelling and just like cursing out the referees. And one
You
of the
know who
referees
was referee? You know who was refing that game, right?
was like, what's Macaulay?
It was Wes McCauley. 5 minutes for biting. That guy.
And
But
then,
you know what? I mean, good on Torts for defending his players. I think the Flyers owner said he would pay for the fines.
yeah,
So he got fined 50 grand. I mean, the max for players is 5, which is crazy. But for coaches, he got 50 grand and 2 games. First of all, I think the 2 games is too harsh. The Flyers are competing to make playoffs. So you lose
yeah,
your coach for 2 games that are probably going to be important. I think you got one against the Leafs, and I think they play tonight too against the Sharks. They should win that. But still, you lose Tortorella for 2 games. This is the fine at 50 grand. Like what the hell is that, bro? Like that's
yeah,
a
it's
lot. That's a lot.
like, it's soft. Like, why find the man? Like, again, like, what is him? Like, even if let's say he just didn't leave, like, what does that actually do for the game? Like, like for the game in itself, like lately,
Imagine he comes back and then he's like, yeah, I'm actually not coming back.
yeah, like, were
Here's
they gonna escort him
here's what I
out?
don't get.
Like,
Here's what I don't get. How is Jacob Trouba allowed to basically take a baseball swing to Trent Frederick's head earlier in the year and get a what? Did he even get suspended? I don't even think he got suspended. I think he got
bro,
fined
no,
5 grand. But Tortorella gets 2 games for suspending a coach, or sorry, for talking to the
not
refs
leaving
or
again.
yelling at the refs, refusing to leave, and a 50 grand suspension. first of all, it's number one, it's stupid because where's the consistency in the league? And number two, it's not fair to if especially the Flyers who are playing really well and the team wants to reward them by buying at the deadline, trying to make playoffs because the Islanders are catching up. And Detroit is also in the mix. So those
Mhm.
three teams right there are competing for that for the either the wild card spot or the Islanders and Flyers for the third Metro spot.
Yeah.
First, like the consistency on suspensions and fines is just ridiculous. Matt Rempe might get suspended too. We can talk about that as well. But like, I just genuinely think the suspensions in this league are just so inconsistent. Like,
Yeah.
if they
Yeah.
had like a line, and if you cross it by like a certain amount, then that's how many games you get. You know what I mean? It just doesn't
Yeah.
make sense for a coach for refusing to leave to get 2 games. Meanwhile, I can go in and just chuck my stick at someone's face and get nothing, 5 grand, which is pennies to half these players, especially
Yeah.
Truba, who makes like $6, $7, $8 million, right? It's just
Yeah.
stupid.
So it just doesn't make any sense. And this has been happening for years, but the whole NHL player safety and all that, like the suspensions don't make sense, the fines don't make sense. And it's like it's just so unserious. And they just like don't care about the health of these players that it's just like it's gotten sad at this point. Like it's really has. And it's just really unfair. Next topic.
I think we should talk about this. I think we need to talk about this. So we saw over the week, we saw over the week the Vegas Golden Knights, and them abusing their LTIR situation with Mark Stone having
Mhm.
his ruptured spleen or whatever that is.
Lacerated.
So
Lacerated.
lacerated spleen. Okay,
Lacerated.
so he's on LTIR. He
Yep.
goes on LTIR, right? They go and bring in Tomas Hertl, who nobody thought they would bring in. He's at a $8 million cap hit. He comes in. Noah Hannafin's brought in. Anthony Mantha's brought in. That team is looking good. Here's where fans are going to be pissed. If I was a team, if I hold on, if I was a contending team, and I was a fan of a contending team, I would want my team to do the same shit, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like if the Leafs did that, abuse the
Part of the rules.
LTI.
Part of the rules. So for Vegas to do this now, and people complaining about it, whatever. Kucherov was laughing about it a couple years ago, and he was joking about it when he had the Bud Light when he's drinking Bud Lights at the conference for winning the cup. However, for Vegas, it's people are going to question if Mark Stone is already healthy. He could be healthy by game 82. They say he's not ready yet, but then magically be ready and fully healthy, ready to go game one.
Yeah, like a week
That's where I think it's going to be suspicious. And that's where I think people are upset because Mark Stone, it could be like the last week. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm not ready yet. Game 82. I can't play this. But 3 days later, if he comes and plays game one, I'm gonna think like, yo, what's going on here? Like you were definitely not injured for that long. You know what I mean? Anyways,
Okay.
back to what we were saying. Yeah, like I said, how can Mark Stone be out for game 82 and come back in for the game one of the playoffs 2 days later? It's just I'd be suspicious of that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like again, that's the rules. Obviously, the rules really don't make sense. But again, that's with a lot of NHL. That's just how it goes really in this league. But I mean, look, if they're following the rules, then those are the rules. Not everyone will agree. I don't agree with the rules because it really doesn't make any sense. Until Mark Stone is injured for game 82 and then 5 days later is all of a sudden back and healthy. Like it really doesn't make any sense. But again, those are rules. I'm not a fan. You're not a fan. If it helped our teams, we would have been a fan of it. So I mean, that's just how it goes, and that's just you kind of just have to deal with it. Like, and plus, for me as a Leaf fan, like I don't really care because first of all, we have to make the final, and they would have to make the final in order for us to play each other. So as a hockey fan, I can see why. They have Emmer on LTR. They have Klingberg on LTR. They have Bertuzzi on LTR for a little bit. They didn't anything. Didn't. So they did do it. But at the same time, because it played Vegas, that a lot of it happened. So it doesn't really affect me.
I don't know what just happened there, but I just got cut out, but whatever. I guess it's gonna continue there, but yeah, you were saying that, like, yeah, I mean, I guess if you're the Leafs, it doesn't matter, whatever. But if you're a team like the Oilers, who might have to play them round one, it's a little bit messed up.
Oh, they're angry. Yeah,
I'd be
they're
pissed. I'd be mad. I'd be mad.
yeah.
Is there anything else we need to discuss before we call it a pod?
Um, TFC. Let's switch over to soccer because TFC,
Let's
honestly,
talk about
they're
KFC.
making me very proud. After last season's debacle and them only getting 4 points on the road, they have already tied that in 2 games. They tied with Cincinnati. They built a manager, by the way. Love him. They beat Dean Smith and Charlotte FC's team 1-0 with an insane, beautiful goal. And they're just cooking right now. Three straight clean sheets. Only team in the MLS who have not conceded a goal. Insigne's playing well. Bardeschi's playing well. The attack in itself hasn't looked too great. Like they're still gelling together, but they have looked phenomenal. The defense is kind of leaking in shots, but Sean Johnson has been there. Luka Graven has been there to save our miscues. Everyone is bought in. Herdman has a team cooking right now. 2 wins, 1 draw, undefeated. We go to New York City FC on Saturday, who New York City have only scored 1 goal in the past 3 games. They've lost all 3 games to start the season. So if we get a win in New York, 3-1 to start this, 3-0-1 to start the season, and we will be absolutely flying.
Bro,
FC
pick a day, pick a game we're going to, bro. We gotta go watch these mans.
We will.
These mans are
We'll
cooking
go.
right now.
We will be there. TFC fans are hyped on Twitter. We're all happy. Dude, we're winning the MLS Cup, bro. Like, bro.
They're good. I mean, I saw Insigne's goal, man. That was absolutely disgusting outside the box. Just curled it top right corner. And they're doing well. I mean, I love John Herberman as the coach for the team. Like
he's great. Like
he's revived Insigne because Insigne,
yes.
I remember, wanted to leave because they weren't doing so hot last year. Whereas now they're just thriving at the moment. They're getting the 1-0 wins. They're playing strong defensive soccer or football, footy, whatever.
Football.
And they actually, when you actually have a good goalkeeper, then you actually get good saves. Because Bono was not doing it for TFC last year. I'll tell you that. Oof.
And then last year, yeah, and then last year Johnson was okay, but again, we were just garbage defensively and just shots every like 5 minutes. And it's like, okay, what more do you want Johnson to do? And then he got injured for like a good couple months. And then let's just last year, all TFC fans just gotta forget about it. And this year, new year, we're in a playoff spot so far, no goals conceded. Attack still gotta get some work. We still need a new number 9 because our strikers have not been it. But other than that, dude, we're cooking right. I'm gonna get hyped. I'm gonna get hyped because they're making me proud. I'm gonna get hyped.
If the offer's there, I'll sign for TFC and play as the striker.
Dude, go because we need a striker, bro. Like, it's bad.
But yeah, they've been good. So they got to get the scoring up there. So like we said, a striker would be nice. I mean, it would be nice to get like Ronaldo or but I think he's stuck in Saudi Arabia. So
he's stuck losing in a Champions League there in Saudi.
Losing in Saudi Arabia, but Toronto FC are on the come up, which is good. It's nice to see. I mean, we went to a couple games 2 years ago when they were doing pretty decent. Last year, they won 4 games all year. It's very depressing. And now this year they're cooking. So this year we're gonna definitely got to go to a few games for sure because they're not as expensive as Leaf tickets, which fortunate enough for that. And we're gonna witness them bring Toronto trophy since 2019, and
let's go.
I'm hyped for that.
Canadian Championship, MLS Cup. We're gonna qualify for CONCACAF Champions League for next year, dude. We're so back. We're so back.
But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for this episode of the AJ Sports Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Click like if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel and tell all your friends about us. And we'll see you guys on Friday. The new schedule is going to try to be Tuesdays and Fridays. Could be once a week, twice a week. We're going to try and aim for Tuesdays and Fridays, but we'll see you guys Friday and take care. Have a good rest of your week.
Peace.